So why is Uber going to be an unbelievably profitable business in the future? Okay, let's just talk about the rideshare business. We don't even have to talk about the other businesses, which will also be some huge profit generators. This one alone will generate billions of dollars of profit per year going in the future, okay? Right now, if you just look at the US market, right? You have two options if you're going to get a ride. It's an Uber or it's a Lyft, or it could be a taxi, okay? Uber, Lyft, or taxi, let's put it that way. And if you go through each market around the world, you'll find in every single market there's usually 2 or 3 players in that particular market, okay? So it's not like there's a ton of competition here. There's like if I need to get a ride somewhere right now, I'm either taking an Uber or Lyft. I know Uber, it's in my mind, and before I was ever invested in Uber, I would always take an Uber, okay? We're talking about usually their prices are like 3 times less than a taxi. So taxi's completely out of it. So it's either I take an Uber or a Lyft, okay? And what both these companies are gonna have to do now that they're public companies, they're gonna have to raise prices so they can become very profitable businesses, and Wall Street will quit beating down their stocks, okay? So here's essentially what's going to happen. Uber and Lyft, these type of companies, are going to raise their rides by $1 to $7 per ride. If it's a really short ride, you might only see like a $1 increase. For the longer rides, could see something as much as like a $5, $6, $7 increase for the super long rides. That might usually be a $20, $30, $40 ride or something like that, okay? And that basically is going to happen over the next 3 years, in my opinion. Now, this is not something that changes anybody's opinion. If all of a sudden I go on the Uber app and I have to pay $1 more than I paid last year, I'm not gonna get that ride somewhere. No, I'm not gonna do that. Even if it was $2, even if it was $3. Heck, for me, even if it was $7, but a lot of people maybe $7 on a short ride, that would be just too much, okay? But essentially for a lot of those shorter rides that are mostly what Uber does, prices are gonna rise $1 to $3 for those shorter rides, and the long rides will probably go up somewhere between $4 and $7 over the next few years. And when you have something like that happen, it immediately changed the business. You got to keep in mind, Uber, the main reason Uber loses money right now was a lot of the stuff that would basically happen when the company went public. You had a ton of like one-time expenses and whatnot. Also, Uber Eats right now, there's a ton of competition in that market. So many people doing like promotions and whatnot because there's so much VC money. That VC money is going to dry up, by the way. And in terms of their other opportunities they're going after, those are heavy investments. That's why they're losing money right now. But some markets are actually making money on rides. Now imagine over the next 3 years as they up those rides, because literally just a $2 change per ride is a game changer for Uber. It is a game changer. They just haven't been able to do it in the past because Uber and Lyft have been fighting over market share, and the same thing with the players in the other markets. That's all starting to end now because these companies are going public and they got to focus on profits rather than just getting the most market share. If Lyft's thinking, do they have like 31% market share or 29% or 33%? That mattered to them a lot when they were private. Now it's not going to matter so much now that they're public companies, okay? So the profits are going to pour in as those rides continue to go up in price over the next several years. And by the way, the main cost to taking an Uber ride is the driver, because the driver obviously makes money, and that's a main cost there. But you know what's going to happen over time? Eventually, autonomous taxi networks will take off. Uber is going to have a phenomenal opportunity of being the number 1 or number 2 player in that market over time, and then the profits will pour in even bigger over time, okay? So needless to say, this doesn't take rocket science to figure out how Uber is going to make ridiculous profits in the future. Literally, just go up $1 to $7 per ride, 1 to 3 on the short rides, 4 to 7 on the really long rides, and literally you start pouring in so many profits, it's ridiculous. And if you think, oh no, Lyft won't allow them to do that or something like that, or the other rideshare markets, no, they're all going to allow it to happen because they all need to get to profitability as soon as possible as well. So that's why it will happen. And if you think somebody's going to come in and disrupt, services like Uber and Lyft, it is completely unrealistic. This would be like trying to disrupt something like Facebook. It's just so hard. People are like, oh, it's just an app. Okay, go create it. Go create the app. Let's see how you compete against Uber or Lyft. It's going to be pretty much near impossible.